Good afternoon, keepers of the cash. Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy here, and we are here with Women of Power Wednesday. And the spotlight today is on one of my all-time favorite characters. We're talking about Jessica Drew, and we're covering the 70s and early 80s of her. Just one of those phenomenal characters to me, and a character that was created just to hold the copyright on a name, but is still relevant and going strong today. She's been through many volumes, many series, appeared in many books, and has always been one of my all-time favorite characters. Now, where did Jessica Drew get her start? In Marvel Spotlight, issue 32, a grail that I was lucky enough to get out of the way in January of 2021. And just a spectacular cover. I have this in an 8.0, nice clean book. And just really, really fantastic. So, of course, we got an awesome Gil Kane cover, and the interior art inside is Sal Buscema and Jim Mooney, Archie Goodwin story, and, of course, origin and first appearance of Spider-Woman, and we have a Nick Fury appearance. And that was in 1977. Now, this book also has a little bit of a story to it, because this was a personal grail of mine that suddenly became available in that 8.0 at my LCS, and was actually the first time I had ever seen the copy in person. And it's a book that I'd always been chasing. Never thought I'd get my hands on. So it was that type of grail for me. And it was a little bit out of my price range, but I had a book that I wanted to move. I contacted a group on Instagram that I'm in, and all those guys pulled together to help me sell the book I wanted to move to pay for this grail, and it was amazing. You know, we had Digger Jim, we had Alan May, who ended up winning the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 book, the first appearance of April O'Neil, which is what I put up. Ben Parker Comics, Eric Chavez from Yeah Man I Got Comics, Taylor Winder, Slaughtered Up 503, Small Town Collectibles, etc. Just so many people. James Warner from Jimmy Jam's Garage Sale. So many great people that pulled together, took part in the raffle, helped Eric Chavez, who ran the raffle. I sold the book I was trying to sell in 15 minutes and was down there the same night to get my grail. It was just amazing the way the community pulled together to help me out. To this day and forever, I'm going to be thankful to that group of people for what they did for me to get that grail. It just means a lot. I love that book. It was one of my all-time favorites I wanted to get. Now I have it. But 77 was a big year for Spider-Woman, because she not only appeared in that, she also appeared in Spidey Super Stories, issue 32. And then her second appearance came rather quickly. You know, and this is not labeled as her second appearance, but she appears fully, even though she doesn't speak, on the last page of this issue. And this is Marvel 2-in-1 number 29, where she appears on the last page. And then this is credited as her first full second appearance. And that is issue 30 of Marvel 2-in-1. And I'm lucky enough to have 4 copies of this. Just a great book, a great story. She still didn't have her hair out. It was still her original costume. Her background was still confused, and she was still lost, and she was still being manipulated. It, of course, went to issue 31, and then the story culminated in issue 32. So, big year, 1977 for Our Lady Jessica Drew. This is a reprint of Giant-Size Spider-Woman, which came out in 2006-ish, I want to say. Super glad to have it, and great cover by Andrea DeVito here. But this actually has my favorite reprint of Marvel Spotlight 32. Just the colors pop. It's a clean looking issue, and it's a lot of fun to read. And so that's my actual reader's copy of this slab. And then in 79, we had her come out. I mean, not 78, she came out with her own number 1. All right, and you kind of had the homage cover, but you had her with her hair finally. All right, and then that's a Joe Sinnott cover, beautiful cover. And you have great people work on this. Steve Aloha, just one of them. Just great names. Carmine Infantino, just a lot of great names. And Carmine Infantino did the interiors on this with Tony DeZanuga art and a Marv Wolfman story. And this issue number 1 also gave her a new introduction. It rewrote her history. In this first issue, Marvel Spotlight 32, a lot happened in there. Jessica Drew was part of Hydra, thinking they were the good guys. She'd been brainwashed. She didn't have her memory. She saw someone die at the hands of Nick Fury that was her lover, only to find out that he was being paid to be her lover and help manipulate her. And she almost killed Nick Fury, thinking he was a bad guy. And she hunted down Otto Burbus after and learned her true origin, which was quite horrific. That she was actually an evolved spider. They got rid of that story pretty quick though with Spider-Woman number 1. This one also, it was a high evolutionary that had evolved her from the spider to his first female creation from an animal or insect. He'd only ever done men. She was his first and considered his best creation. Then we had the origin remade and retold in issue 1 of Spider-Woman number 1, where it was her dad working for Hydra that manipulated her cells and made her into what she is today. Of course, that story would be rewoven again by Brian Michael Bendis later on in another limited series. But I had this in a 6.5, and this was the first Spider-Woman 1 I had ever bought. So I have another one here. I have 2 more Spider-Woman 1s. One of them, which is in a better grade than this, but I'm not going to send it out. This is nostalgia purpose for me now. It's my first one I bought. Yeah, it's a 6.5. I could have a higher grade. Maybe I'll send the other one in one day because I do have another reader copy. But Spider-Woman 1 there from 78. We have a 2006 reprint from Toy Biz, which is just beautiful. I might send that in just for fun because I can't get tired of the cover. We had the facsimile from 2019. And again, just a great series. It was up and down though. Issues 1 through 50. Started out, they kept changing creative teams. They kept changing the direction. She was a detective, and then, it got convoluted. First it was kind of horror based, then it was detective based, then it was more superhero based, and kind of back to the horror roots again. And it was a little bit all over the place, and I still loved every issue. I couldn't get enough of the character. It didn't matter who was writing her. It didn't matter what was going on. I just loved the Jessica Drew character. I don't know what it was. Always an underdog. And it's been that way in all her series with ups and downs. And, the character still survives though. And then we had in 1979, we had her appear in What If. Ghost Rider, Spider-Woman, and Captain Marvel were villains. And I have a third copy of this somewhere in the house. But just a great little what if tale, and Spider-Woman still comes to her senses in this. So no matter how many times she's manipulated, she comes back and the good in her wins out. And then we're going to go all the way to 1980, one whole year later. And in 1980, she was in Marvel Team Up 97 with the Incredible Hulk. So great issue, a lot of fun to read. And you got the Hulk, I got a newsstand, I got a direct copy, so very nice. And then we get to the fun era, right? Let's get to 1981. In 1981, you had Amuro Bubblegum, which was putting out mini comics with gum in them. I have all 6 of them. You had Archie, Sabrina, Hulk, Captain America, Spider-Man, and of course, Spider-Woman. So that is a little mini comic, which is only 10 pages long. Super fun little read. Yes, they're simple. They're only 10 pages. It's a very base story, and it doesn't matter. It's childhood magic. I get the same enjoyment reading it now as I did when I was a kid. It's just one of those little things that takes you back to an era and lets you live in it for a minute. All right, and then of course we had in 1981 the 7-Eleven team up: Spider-Man, Captain America, the Incredible Hulk, and Spider-Woman. And this is again a fun, simple read, up and down. There's some things which are farcical in it, but it's good-hearted and it's just completely enjoyable and a cool little crossover book. And one of those promotional books you don't see very often. I'm lucky I own 2 copies of this. And then we had her in 1981 in X-Men 148 with Storm and Dazzler and the Shadow of Death, where they're rescuing Kitty, and just a fun little issue. And one that's getting a little bit pricey as well. I think that issue's around $30 now. We had all that, but when her regular series ended, they killed Jessica Drew. Realizing quickly it was a mistake, it only took them 2 years to resurrect her. And you saw that in Avengers 240, but this was actually like a 4 or 5 issue storyline starting with 238. You had 239, which had David Letterman in it. But this was a resurrection of Jessica Drew to bring her back into the mainstream comics. And luckily, I got 4 copies of this sucker. So a couple newsstand, a couple direct. And that was basically her early self, was just retelling her origin. She had cool villains like the Needle. She fought with Werewolf by Night. She met the X-Men. The character was up and down, up and down. And she had someone she trusts betray her a couple times, hunt her down, try to kill her. All sorts of stuff has happened to this character. She's still surviving. Now, you can get issues 1 through 50 still. They're not that hard to find. A lot of them were made. They are starting to get into the $8 to $12 a piece range for most of the books. The first book will cost you in near mint condition $40 to $50 right now, but it's still on the rise. Marvel Spotlight 32 is just skyrocketing. A #1 issue will most likely cost you $200 or over. If it's in really good condition, you're going to probably look in the $300 range or more. But if you wanted to read Spider-Woman 1 through 50, also Marvel Team Up 97 and Uncanny X-Men 148, and the 4 Marvel Team Up issues she's in, there was a great Essentials line that came out. Volumes 1, and they're thick, in black and white. And Volume 2, which collects all those issues for you. Now, I think you can still find these on eBay. You can't really order them anymore. They're out of print. And of course, I don't have them, but you have the Marvel Masterworks. And those are pricey. Those are usually about $80. And that's in 2 different volumes right now. But a great character. One that survives. One of those characters, like a Peter Parker, like a Bruce Banner, where they're always being beaten down. Life is always just giving them a hard time. But no matter what, they persevere. They find a little bit of their own happiness that they make out of their life. And no matter what happens to them, they're helping someone else. They're making sure somebody else is living. They're protecting somebody else. Usually at a cost to themselves. Just one of those selfless characters that you can connect to right away. But that was just a little rundown of some of the early stages of Jessica Drew. I didn't really stick to one story for this Woman of Power Spotlight, because I just kind of wanted to highlight her first couple years. Just was to show you guys a couple covers, let you know a couple different things she appeared in, and let you know a couple different things that the character was in, like that mini comic, like the Spidey from the Electric Company, that little thing, which was really neat and kid-based, like the 7-Eleven promo book. Just this character has been around in comics since 1977. Her new series is going well, and like her character always does, she perseveres. She finds a way. She's there. Until next time, keep it casual.